One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Now we're just coming in. The next section, due east. If you're like me and you grow up around people in the military, that kind of stuff gives you all the tingly, feely, happy-feely stuff. Whew, just gets to me all the time. If I say it's okay to surf this beach, it's okay to surf this beach. There's nothing like napalm in the morning. I'm looking up and just saw one of my acoustic tiles became loose. Gonna have to tape that back. Hopefully it won't fall while we're doing this show. As we're getting all settled in, this is actually the first weekend show with the complete studio, completely complete. Finally, I'm settled in. All the buttons, bells and whistles, computer equipment, lighting equipment. I still got to do something with the fade here. Got a little bit of ghost action going on right about there. So I'm going to fix that once we get off. It might be because it's too light. I mean, this is usually where I broadcast at night. And it's bright sunny out right now, so the lights are in a different position and different shade than if they were actually at night. In any event, I'm talking to myself and making a note so I know what to do. Hey, how you doing? How are you doing today on Saturday, No Kings, Hate America Day? What a farce. You know, most people would probably avoid talking about No Kings, but I would be remiss. I would be almost fraudulent if I didn't talk about No Kings, because I like to bring news. So before J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth come up, I'm going to talk a little bit about this No Kings fiasco that they have today. And then I've got to get them on stage, and then I got to wrap up before the Notre Dame football game, you know, where real crowds attended this weekend. The real people are out there having fun. But before I do that, I do have to give you some, well, it may be breaking news to some of you. It may not be breaking news to all of you. And it does have to be sanitized because we are here on YouTube. President Trump posted this today. It says, "It was my great honor to destroy a very large drug-carrying submarine." Now we're not talking about one of these go-fast boats. We're talking that the bad guys actually had a submarine that was navigating towards the United States on a well-known narco-trafficking transit route. U.S. intelligence confirmed this vessel was loaded up with mostly fentanyl and other illegal narcotics. There were 4 known narco-terrorists on board the vessel. 2 of the terrorists are no longer with us. They've been unalived. At least 25,000 Americans would die if I allowed this submarine to come ashore. The 2 surviving bad guys are being returned to their countries of origin, Ecuador and Colombia, for detention and prosecution there. No U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. Under my watch, the United States of America will not tolerate narco-terrorists trafficking illegal drugs by land or by sea. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And if I posted it on my profile. It's everywhere if you want to see this. But President Trump gave these guys a first-class escort to wherever their afterlife may be. And the other 2 who survived, who knows what's going to happen to them. After hearing the press conference yesterday, after hearing what President Trump said in that press conference yesterday, when he dropped the F-bomb and said, "Don't F around," I guess people still aren't taking him seriously. I think these guys think he's not playing. I think they could sacrifice a few loads with the hope of getting other stuff into the country somehow. Well, President Trump is calling their bluff. And if he can find you, he's not looking to, quote, capture you. He's looking to take you out. He's looking to make you, become mist. For some reason, the Democrats don't like this, and a few Republicans. You got to wonder why. You got to wonder why there's so many politicians taking the side of criminals. I don't know. I could suppose. But something doesn't make sense. These people are bringing in whatever contraband, whether it be human or drug. They are bringing in stuff to harm Americans, period. And in that regard, President Trump is, I'm not going to let you. I'm not going to tolerate it. I have named you a terrorist organization. I don't need congressional approval. All the people running around saying he needs congressional approval to declare war, he hasn't declared war. He declared them a terrorist organization. As such, they are a threat to the American homeland. And because of that, he can unilaterally decide to protect the homeland. I'm pretty sure it's his job. No meetings, no discussions. You threaten Americans, he's going to take care of you. Why would anybody have a problem with that? And I think as we go into primary season, that question needs to be asked of people on the left and on the right. What is it you have a problem? They're not on U.S. soil. They're not American citizens. Ask away. Ask those questions. So, that being said, let's talk about this so-called, and I say so-called, No Kings protest, because essentially that's what it is. It is AstroTurf at best. And I'm sure you're going to see, and the only reason anybody attended, the only reason anybody talks about it is because the news media keeps pushing it. Well, Barry, you're going to do the same thing, only for your benefit. And then we're going to move on to this event. All right, so I want to show you a couple things that happened today that I found to be very interesting. And one of those things was, well, Eric Doherty, he was on the ground. No Kings is flopping nationwide. Here's a scene of protesters deserting their post after their paid time was up. New York State here, they're gone. They're all gone. The No Kings protest is over. Just like that, they all cleared out. They're gone. Where the hell did they go? I don't know. I don't know, but poof, like that, they were gone. And then when the ones that were there, Benny posted this. He goes, I've seen dozens of videos, and I'm convinced there's not a single person under 50 at these No Kings protests. I can tell you, some people ask me, why didn't you drive down to Boca today and see what the No Kings protest looked like, or drive maybe up to Mar-a-Lago and see what it looked like up there? And it's Saturday in October. There's so much going on. There's fun happening. There's a big, giant pool out back. I'm spending time with my wife after a busy week. Screw these nuts. They've got nothing. And the sooner most people realize this is nothing. And when Benny put this up and said, you know, he's seen enough videos, I watched a ton of them. I've seen dozens of videos, and I'm convinced there's not a single person under 50 at these protests. Matt Van Swole was up in outside of Asheville. This is the No Kings protest, about 30 minutes drive from Asheville. The crowd that showed up was beyond parody. There's something else you have to notice here. It stands out. I'm not one of those guys who puts stuff on X and says, hey, did you notice this? No, I'm going to tell you after I give you a chance to take a look at that and see if you notice it yourself. Besides being old, besides being white, there's no college kids. None of them. There's no black people. There's no Hispanic people. It's all old hippies. All old hippies. It's like these people pushed away the rock from the 60s and have now found another reason for them to, you know, come to life. It's absolutely incredible. Then I saw this one from Right Angle. Times Square, they were bragging how many people were in Times Square. At exactly 1 p.m., all of the No Kings protesters in Times Square immediately dispersed. Totally normal and definitely not AstroTurf. Now, I'm going to say this. Having been to a number of Trump rallies, a bunch of them, that may be a bit misleading. Don't go around posting, hey, look, they all just left. Because every single Trump rally I went to, after the Trump rally was over, after he spoke, it emptied out. In fact, some of these people who organize this stuff, their permits may have said you have to end at 1 p.m. That's it. You're done. I think what people were looking for were masked hysteria. not just the protest, but what usually happens after the protest, the pushing and shoving and the screaming and yelling. And these people came, they did their protest and went home. Let's give them that. Let's give them the fact that they didn't turn into Portlandians. Let's until we see the videos of people doing crazy stuff, let's assume it really was a peaceful protest. I'm not going to show empty streets and say it wasn't, in their eyes, successful. It very well could have. It's over. The game's over. The stadium empties. People go away. I'm not going to point fingers and say nobody showed up, except for at the places where nobody showed up. But Times Square had a crap load of people. Be accurate. Don't have misinformation guiding you in terms of what you say. There were a crap load of people in Times Square. It is what it is. Where's this one? Somebody else again. This is Eric Doherty again. It's only 2 p.m. and a No Kings rally in densely populated New York City is sparse and clearing out. The morning shift is over. They're clocking out. Foreign flags being flown and tons of old white retirees. That is absolutely true. It was old white people. But we can't say that just because it emptied out that it wasn't successful. Being successful doesn't matter to me that people showed up to their rallies. I could care less. Doesn't matter whatsoever. Because what you do have to pay attention to is who did show up. So this one is from the Daily Caller. No King's Rapid Response Choir chants fascists gotta go. And they're having their little, I don't understand what's up with the costumes. I don't understand why they're showing costumes all over the place and dressing up like little furries. I ain't going to go there right now. But you can see, nice pink code pink type thing. And there's what, a couple hundred people? But if you're going to show the rallies where there's no people, then it would be misinformation and BS not to show the other. This is Chicago. And Chicago was absolutely packed. Absolutely packed. But I would expect Chicago to be absolutely packed. But it doesn't mean anything. I mean, you can take every single one of those people and it would fill up maybe half of the football stadium that we're going to see tonight with Notre Dame. It's going to be half of the amount of people who were in the stadium last night with Miami playing Louisville. It's a lot of people. Means nothing. There's no message being sent. They're not trying to, they may think they're sending a message, but they're not making Trump change his mind. They're not making you change your mind. Nobody cares. This was just their way of going out on a nice, pretty Saturday afternoon in the fall and getting together and doing stuff. I saw this one. It just made me crack up. I don't even know what this one's about. They will make for great ads for the midterms. Thanks, Democrats. They're walking through the city of New York, and they've got pictures of Bernie Sanders and AOC and Zoran Mandami and Jimmy Kimmel, and they're labeling all of them as Antifa. There is no leadership. And then the Democrat politicians were all over the place talking about how it's authoritarian and fascist. We're the one part of this that makes no sense whatsoever. If President Trump was a true fascist, if he was a Nazi, if he was an authoritarian, you wouldn't have a rally today. There would be no marching in the streets. Do you not get that? The mere fact that you're in a country that is allowing you to speak your voice, that is saying to you, hey, go ahead, go out in the street and protest, do whatever you want, is evidence of itself that you are not living under authoritarian rule. You're not living under fascism, and you definitely ain't living under a Nazi. These people don't even have the brain power to understand their hypocrisy. It's absolutely insane. So they're doing some things right now. I want to click this to you because I hope Pete Hegseth isn't jumping out of this perfectly good airplane, but while this guy's giving a speech, but Pete Hegseth is in a jump seat. I'll let you see for yourself here because, come on, Pete, please tell me you're not jumping out. I don't see a parachute. I just see the door open and it looks like they're getting ready to do something.
Soldiers and Marines were wounded and killed in Ramadi every day. We were fighting against a demonic and determined enemy. An enemy with no rules of engagement, no respect for the civilian populace, and no value for human life. And one day, after some of my SEALs turned over a rooftop position to our Anglico brothers, one of those men, Corporal Chris Leon, who was a complete stud of a Marine, he was shot and killed by a single wretched enemy bullet. And Chris Leon was the first Anglico Marine that was killed in Iraq, and he died doing his duty, scanning for the enemy and protecting the troops on the streets below. And a short while later, on August 2nd, 2006, Mark Lee became the first SEAL killed in Iraq when he was hit by enemy machine gun fire while assaulting a building in South Ramadi. And later that evening, on August 2nd, we mustered at the airfield on Camp Ramadi to send Mark home on his final flight back to America. And when we got there, we discovered that he would not be alone on that journey. Because earlier that same morning, Corporal Joe Thompson, 4th Platoon, Lima Company, 3-8 Marines, one of the outstanding Marines who had taught us how to effectively fight this battle, he was killed by an IED while he was on patrol in North Ramadi. So, we, SEALs and Marine, together, bonded by blood as brothers, we stood side by side and loaded those two fallen warriors onto a Marine Corps CH-46 for their last flight home. And many more brave souls made the ultimate sacrifice on that brutal battlefield. And we will never forget them. And that is one of the reasons why I consider Marines to be my brothers. But there is another reason. And the other reason is actual brotherhood. Because you see, Mark Lee, the first SEAL killed in Iraq, his brother, Chris Lee, he was a Marine. And Ryan Jobe, one of my other SEALs in Ramadi, who was shot in the face, was gravely wounded, and who later died of his wounds, his brother, Aaron Jobe, he was a Marine. And finally, Michael Mansour, another SEAL with us in Ramadi, who jumped on a grenade and sacrificed his life to save 3 of our other teammates, who was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. Well, Mikey Monsoor's father, George, was a Marine who served in Vietnam. And Mikey's two brothers, both of his brothers, Joe and Jim, they're also Marines. And that is why it is an honor to be here today. That is why it is an honor to call you all my brothers. And that is also why I know that despite all the people that fear the rise of evil in the world, despite all the people that are concerned about the future of freedom, and despite all the people that are concerned about the fate of our great nation, I can tell you this: I am not concerned at all. Because I know that no matter what happens, there are some men. There are a few good men and women called Marines. And I know that you will never back down. I know that you will never surrender. I know that you will uphold the ideals of this blessed country. And I know that with fire and steel and sweat and blood, you, every one of you, will uphold the heroic ideals of the United States Marine Corps. And that's what I got, Devil Dogs. Happy birthday, guns up, Semper Fi!
That dude's scary. I don't know who he was, but whew, I'm older. I'm not in Marine type shape, but I'm ready to grab a rifle and go head fast into that. Oh man, that guy! Wow. Oh man, set him loose on a couple of these narco-terrorist submarine guys. Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see in our military. Not people dressed up like, wearing dresses and high heels and that guy. I want to know that guy's on a front line someplace. Y'all don't like that? That's how I sleep easy at night. There's people like that who are keeping me safe. That's it. Wow. And so what? You guys get a little afraid from that? You lefties don't kind of like that kind of stuff? Get over yourselves. You got new people in town. Love it. So I'm not sure who the next speaker is, but before I get to the next speaker, let me talk to you. By the way, I believe J.D. Vance might, Pete Hegseth still has to land on that plane he was in. But what we'll do is, as soon as they come on, you won't miss a single second of them giving their speeches. So, in between a lull here, let me tell you about this show's sponsor today. This would be the MAGA Watch. Sometimes you buy a watch just to tell time, but this one tells a story. This Trump wristwatch, it's black steel band, bold, solid red face. It's sharp, it's strong, and it stands out. But more than that, every time you check the time, it's a little reminder that truth still matters. In a world everyone's trying to spin all the time, including our so-called media, this watch is like carrying a moral compass that points you back to what's real. And hey, let's be honest, it looks good as well. It honestly goes with everything. Dress it up or keep it casual. For some, it's a daily piece you'll wear proudly. For others, perhaps it's something you'll hold on to as a collector's item. A reminder of this moment in time that shall pass quickly. And what a time to be alive. Either way, it's not just a watch, it's a statement of what you believe in. It's the kind of thing you'll be glad you've got when someone asks, where were you when all of this was happening? You can just point to your wristwatch and say, right here, keeping track. So yeah, sure, it tells time, but it also tells a story, one that represents the truth And these days, that feels even more valuable and more important. Get yours today. On the screen, you see https://themagaoffers.com/BarryWatch. Or check the link in the description and below the video, and you'll get a nice discount just for being a Fanfare family member. Get it. I know some people might think it's a little bit expensive. I'm not trying to tell you to overextend yourself, but go to the MAGA, MAGAOFFERS.com/BarryWatch. All right, so next up, I'm not sure if they're doing something because there's not much of a view other than the back of people's heads. Let me show you so you understand what I'm seeing here. They must be watching something.
Every Marine who has earned the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor bears a responsibility that stands the test of time. To the Marines, past, present, and future.
We don't join the Marine Corps. We are the Marine Corps. Core of our being is that we're convinced we're the best fighting force in the world, and the truth is, we are.
I believe the immediate bond between Marines is so strong just because of the way we're trained. We have a very specific niche culture of, greatness, our heritage, our warrior ethos. I think all those things, separate us, and we find them in each other.
You may have a reason why you join, but there's a reason why you stay. You stay because of everything you're learning about how to be a warrior, how to maintain those warrior ethics, so that when that bomb goes off, you're ready to do your part.
As Marines, our warrior mindset is something that can never be defeated. For 250 years, the Marine Corps has been successful because that's the only option. Success is all we know.
The character of war has and will continue to change. We have adapted, evolved, and innovated, but our warrior spirit remains consistent.
The nature of war is taking something that somebody else has that you want, and it's never changed, probably never will change. The character of war, however, has changed a lot. World War II, we used ships, planes, bombs. All the way to today, we use, as you can tell by the news, we use ships, planes, bombs. We just have a lot better technology.
I don't know that one battlefield's ever been the same for any generation. The types of war, the ways of war, all that is constantly going to be changing. What's going to decide our next and our future wars is not going to be the technology, it's not going to be money, it's going to be the level of the belief of our people, of what they believe in, and the standards that they hold themselves to.
We are more lethal, more capable, and more ready than ever, while grounded in the traditions that made us who we are. We will not win the next fight on platforms alone. It is the Marine who will break the will of the enemy.
As Marines, I believe the most powerful aspect of our training and such an important part of who we are, holding on to that history that came before us. The Marine Corps is lethal because of our willingness and our eagerness to take the fight to the enemy in any climb or place and win those battles, sometimes at any cost.
Our history is not only a story of battles won, it is a story of people, of commitment, of family. An unbreakable bond that transcends ranks and lasts a lifetime.
I think the only way to honor them is to live a life that's worthy of their sacrifices. And the only way that you can do that is by going out and being the best that you can be, by going out and by still upholding those standards as a Marine, by celebrating them, by telling their stories and giving the next generation some legacy to live up to.
Cream rises to the top. And that's what we have in the Marine Corps today. The Marine Corps is operational Marine Corps. But there's another aspect of the Marine Corps. It's the former Marines or former active duty who are out there in all walks of life. It's amazing when you think of it.
Being in service was a privilege. It was the best time of our lives. But it was a sacrifice. And your family is part of that sacrifice. And Marine wives or Marine spouses, they deserve a lot of credit as well. The kids, being uprooted, moving. It's a sacrifice to serve our country.
Without the support of their loved ones and their immediate family, it's hard for them to complete their job. So again, it's so important for military families and Marine Corps families to understand that their role and the role that they play in supporting their loved one while serving is just as important.
For 250 years, we have proven there is no better friend and no worse enemy than a U.S. Marine.
For those people who wish evil upon the greater good, David Bellavia said it best, somebody else will raise your children.
To the enemies of our nation, don't get comfortable. Whether you're in the air, at sea, or on the ground. We adapt. We always have, and we always will.
If it comes down to one-on-one, mano a mano, and you turn us loose, I can promise you this, you're not going to survive.
From our first amphibious landing at Nassau, to the black sands of Iwo Jima, to urban combat in Fallujah, our Corps has come a long way since Samuel Nichols first took command of 2 battalions at Tun Tavern. Though weapons, platforms, and technology continue to evolve, our individual Marines' grit, discipline, resolve remain our decisive advantage.
For 2.5 centuries, Marines have preserved our legacy as America's premier expeditionary force, because we are forward, ready, and lethal. From the moment a Marine earns their Eagle Globe and Anchor, they inherit a rich tradition of honor, courage, and commitment, a legacy that is etched on our souls forever. Our history is one of winning our nation's battle, and make no mistake, we will be called to fight again. We will be ready, and we will win.
Since our foundation, we have fought in every climb and place, upholding our oath and preserving who we are, the few and the proud. But we cannot break stride. We must continue to train for the next fight, because victory will go to those who seize the initiative, impose their will, and never yield. The pursuit of excellence in the profession of arms is our heritage, forged by an unbreakable fighting spirit. The memorial behind us stands as a testament to that fact. We stand on the shoulders of the giants that came before us. We must not fail them. The challenge is on all of us every day to uphold the standard that the title Marine demands.
Happy 250th birthday, Marines. Semper Fidelis.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to acknowledge the exceptional leadership, dedication, and unwavering support provided by Lieutenant General Christian F. Wortman, Commanding General, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, Vice Admiral John F. Wade, Commander, U.S. 3rd Fleet, and Brigadier General Michael R. Nakanizi, Deputy Commanding General, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force. Today's demonstration of military might and the grit shown by the Marines and sailors participating is a direct result of your leadership, expertise, and steadfast devotion to mission success. The scope of your accomplishment here is unprecedented in this century. The American people can take comfort in our military's readiness to defend the homeland and our nation's interest abroad.
I'm Rob Ryder. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I am deeply honored to be able to bring you the action this afternoon here at the Beach Blast. In a moment, we're going to see coming overhead the U.S. Navy leapfrogs. They are the...
I just want you to know, while this is happening, I am looking everywhere for a feed that is just not focused on the Marine sitting there. I'm not finding not finding any feeds. I've got one more else I can check. It doesn't come online until 5:45. So I'm going to be in the background here. I am going to be checking for other feeds. Hopefully we can see the planes and everything else that's going to be happening. People jumping out of air. That's the one that Pete Hegseth is in. He's up there with the people who are going to jump out the airplane. But for some reason, there's only one camera with RSBN, and I'm going to look and see. Hopefully, like I said, there are two more feeds I have that are going to be coming online in the next 5 minutes. So continue to listen. I don't know what else is out there, but I'm going to keep looking and at the other things that come up in 2 minutes. Real quick, before I go and check on the other feeds, I want to tell you guys about tomorrow. Some of you guys will be interested. You've been texting me and emailing, and some of you may not be interested at all. Tomorrow afternoon, after I watch the Dolphins get beat, probably around 4, I'm going to do a show not just on prosperity, but how to get there. I'm going to talk to you about some real estate stuff and some other things. A lot of people have been asking me, I've been getting emails, can you show me some of this stuff? I don't understand. I'm going to start at basically ground zero, because ground zero is what has to happen. In order for you to begin learning, you have to actually begin. You got to do something. So I'm going to show you something that you could start on Monday. You can start on Monday and begin getting yourself ready. Obviously, you can buy gold and silver anytime you want, but I'm going to try and show you some things about real estate-wise that'll take you further down that road. So let me put this back up and see if I can find another perspective beyond this gaggle of Marines sitting here.
The capability to penetrate denied or contested areas virtually undetected. Though today's demonstration takes place in broad daylight, these missions are typically conducted under the cover of darkness over both land and sea. If you will look carefully, high and above, on the right, 3 parachutists have come together. It's a 3-stack. This daring maneuver begins at approximately 2,500 feet. They will fly their open parachutes into each other. They stacked their canopies vertically. The bottom SEAL then climbs up his teammate's legs, locking legs together and flipping his parachute upside down. This display of teamwork and precision requires the bottom 2 SEALs to hold the formation together with their legs while the top SEAL navigates them to the drop zone. When they reach about 800 feet, the pilot will release, allowing the 2 lower parachutists to separate and accelerate toward the ground at 50 miles per hour before releasing their legs at just 400 feet above the drop zone. You can see that one of the jumpers is upside down, almost directly overhead. Check 1, 2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, high and above, the 2 jumpers are now in a down plane with the American flag. 2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, high and above, the 2 jumpers are now in a down plane with the American flag. As the flag approaches the ground, we ask that you stand as the official presentation of the colors takes place, represented by members of the Marine Ceremonial Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Guard! Carry! Guard! Ready! Go! Guard! Ready! Go! Guard! Right turn! March! Forward! March!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Daryl Caudle.
And Pendleton. It is an honor to be here with the warfighters who make Southern California the front line of building, training, and delivering our maritime combat power. We just had a greatest opportunity ever, returning from a world life experience of exceptional amphibious demonstration off the coast. And let me tell you, your Navy Marine Corps team absolutely crushed it. Mr. Vice President, thank you for joining us today, witnessing firsthand the integrated strength of integrated sea power. I'm sure this brought back some vivid memories of your time in uniform. It's great to welcome you back among your Marines. Secretary of War Hegseth, thank you for your steadfast support of our men and women in uniform and your focus on uncompromising standards. You continue to be a tireless champion of the warfighter and the ethos required to win in combat. Secretary Phelan, as always, sir, a pleasure to be your wingman. Thank you for your leadership and partnership. From robust ship-to-shore operations to close-in air support to seamless handoffs between blue and green forces, what we witnessed today was not just a demo, but a textbook execution of integrated all-domain warfare. That kind of performance doesn't just happen. It's forged through discipline, training, and a unified commitment to mission success. No other maritime force on Earth can generate and project combat power with this level of speed, scale, and synchronization. Let's give a round of applause to the men and women who made this happen. As your Chief of Naval Operations, I couldn't be more proud to represent this extraordinary team. You embody what it means to be forward, focused, and lethal. Whether you're on the bridge, in the cockpit, in the whale deck, or on the beach, we're all part of a single integrated fight. For over 250 years, it's been this unity between sailors and Marines that has given our nation the decisive edge, from the shores of Tripoli to the waters off the Red Sea. And today, as then, we stand the watch together, delivering maritime dominance and extending American power from sea to shore. In January, the President gave us a clear charge: defend the homeland, deter aggression, project strength through an all-domain integrated force. And that's exactly what we've been doing day in and day out. Across every ocean and every contested region, our Navy Marine Corps team is leading from the front, reassuring allies, restoring deterrence, and responding with precision and resolve when called. And you have just shown the world that American sea power is not just a concept, it's an unmatched capability. And you, all of you, our sailors and Marines, are the competitive edge, the enduring advantage that no adversary can match. Today, we were able to get a glimpse into why the Navy and Marine Corps team operates as a joint force all to itself. You showcase why our amphibious forces remain vital to winning future conflicts. And this is just the beginning of what we can become. We are the operational overmatch. Agile, persistent, and expeditionary, we bring unrivaled combat flexibility, delivering force and options from sea to the fight on our terms and on our timeline. I want to close by thanking all of you and your families for your service, your sacrifice, and your commitment. You make our team what it is. It is an honor to serve with you. Thank you, and Semper Fortis.
Vance or Pete Hegseth might be next. They're setting up the stage. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I didn't know what this was going to be all about. SV and I are so we start looking for different fees and what's going to show and what's not going to show. And obviously for privacy reasons around the Marine base there, they decide who they're going to allow to show what. So we're getting a decent feed. I'm not sure who's up next. I'm looking forward to it. Let me see who it's going to be. Right now I'm staring at an empty mic, and here we go, the next speaker.
Hoorah, Marines! Get some! Hoorah! That never gets old, does it? That never gets old. Good afternoon, Marines, sailors, family, friends, Vice President Vance, Secretary of War Hegseth, Secretary of the Navy Phelan, my shipmate, the CNO, elected officials, distinguished guests, far too many to name. What a day. What a perfect amphibious day. And what a sight to behold. What I'm talking about is you. I'm not talking about the equipment, I'm not talking about the ships, I'm talking about you, the Marines. Because that's who we are. That's what we're all about. We're about the individual Marine, because that's who wins battles. That's who wins wars. Before I begin, I want to thank those who made today's demonstration possible, especially the phenomenal team here at Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton and the Marines and sailors of the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force and the 3rd Fleet. From the first aircraft overhead to the final wave on the beach, you showed what American amphibious strength looks like in action. You do not want to be on the receiving end of that bunch of ass whooping. You do not. If you're an adversary, hoorah. If you're an adversary
Hoorah!
and you want to have your butt kicked, then mess with the Marine Corps.
because we'll do it. We'll do it for you. I also want to thank our many distinguished guests and civic leaders for joining us in the celebration this afternoon. You know, if you go to Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point, North Carolina, or if you go to Marine Corps Air Station New River, it says, "Pardon our noise, that's the sound of freedom." Well, pardon our noise today, that's the sound and look of freedom. That's what it takes to get you free. Thanks as well to our national leadership for standing alongside your Marine Corps as we mark this historic milestone, 250 years young. The first 250. The next 250 are going to be even tougher than the first 250, and there's going to be more fights ahead, but we'll overcome all obstacles because we're Marines. That's what we do. We don't know how to fail. Finally, thank you to our military families whose strength, patience, and sacrifice make everything we do possible. You serve this nation alongside your Marines and sailors, and your support is the foundation of our readiness. For 250 years, our Corps has fought and won our nation's battles. Again, we don't know how to lose. We're Marines. Founded even before our formal independence as a country, we were created as an expeditionary force in readiness, always faithful to the nation we serve. From muskets to missiles, wooden ships to amphibious combat vehicles, and signal flags to satellites, the tools of our trade have changed, but their purpose has not. We remain America's naval expeditionary force, ready to respond and ready to win. Today, we witness the power of the Navy and Marine Corps team through our premier force offering, the Amphibious Ready Group and Marine Expeditionary Unit, employing combined arms to deliver decisive effects and compel the enemy to do our will, to do what we want to have happen, not what they want to have happen. But none of what you saw, the precision fires, the air assault, the seamless integration of firepower, none of that means a thing without the Marine behind it, without the Marine behind his M4, without the Marine sitting in the vehicle, driving it, without the pilot flying the aircraft. It is all about the Marine. It's all about you. The strength of the MAGTF lies in its Marines. Their warrior ethos and core values strengthen us and sustain us during difficult times. It is the Marine, resolute beneath our nation's flag, who carries the day every time. Honor, courage, and commitment are the living code of a Corps that endures because of uncompromising standards. Standards that guide us in our purpose, unite us in battle, and bind us across generations. From Bellawood to Iwo Jima to Ramadi and Fallujah and Helmand Province, we're still the same. We're a Corps of Marines. We are a band of warriors dedicated to the defense of this nation. The Marines here today are cut from the same cloth as those who seized Tarawa, withstood the cold of Korea, and fought through the streets of Iraq and the mountains of Afghanistan. And the next fight is coming. Trust me, it's coming. Across battlefields, our character has never wavered. Just as the nature of war, the clash of wills, the test of fortitude, the demand for discipline remains the same. To our Marines here today and around the world, I could not be more proud of you. Sergeant Major Ruiz and I have the easiest jobs in the Marine Corps. We get thanked every day, and yet you do all the work. Our jobs are easy. Your jobs are hard. We don't pay you enough. You don't have all the equipment that you need, but you still get the job done. Why? Because we're Marines. That's what we do. That's all we do. We do war fighting. We do America's war fighting. You remind us that our power is not found in steel or armaments, but in the faith we keep with one another. You are our most valuable asset. No modernized ship, vehicle, or weapon system can replace the sheer will, determination, or grit of a U.S. Marine. It is you who will close with and destroy the enemy. To locate, close with, and destroy the enemy, or repel the enemy's assault by fire and close combat. Close combat. That's what we do. It is you who will seize the objective and seize the day. It is you who will win our nation's battles. This is why I have absolute confidence in the future of our Corps, today, tomorrow, and for the next 250 years. When the next fight comes, and sadly it will come, Marines will be ready. Ready to fight, ready to win, because that is who we are. That is what we do. It is all that we do. We're warriors. That's all that we do. We are America's crisis response force. We're the 911 force. We're the people who go out the door at 0:30 to get our mission done, to accomplish it on behalf of the American people, to stick a bayonet in the heart of our adversaries, just like we did at Belleau Wood, just like we did at Bladensburg and Chapultepec and Iwo Jima and Eniwetok and Kwajalein and Quezon and Ramadi and Fallujah. That is who we are as a Corps. Never forget that. Never forget that it is up to you to pass on the Marine Corps to the next generation of Marines who are currently in high school or middle school or grade school or just being born. We owe it to them to pass on our heritage and our legacy unvarnished, untarnished, and sharp as a razor. That's who we are. That's who we've always been. That's who we will always be. We are America's crisis response force. Don't ever forget that, Marines. Be proud of that Eagle Globe and Anchor that you wear tattooed onto your chest. You earned it. Only you can own it. Only a few, a very few, are capable of earning the title Marine. I'm proud of each and every one of you. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for stepping up to serve when so many couldn't or wouldn't. Thanks for being Marines. Hoorah, Semper Fidelis. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the United States Secretary of the Navy, John.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is an incredible sight. I can't think of anything better than being here with thousands of Marines, sailors, and their families here on Red Beach, celebrating 250 years of the United States Marine Corps, the world's premier expeditionary force. Add to that what we just witnessed, an awesome display of maritime power. It really doesn't get any better. Thank you and well done to every single Marine, sailor, civilian, and partner who made this amphibious demonstration possible. Let's give them a hand. On behalf of President Trump and the Department of the Navy, I want to thank every Marine and sailor across the globe for standing in defense of our nation with honor, courage, and commitment. You carry forward a legacy that began in Tun Tavern in 1775, when a few tough men decided this nation needed a corps of warriors who would always be the first to fight. 2.5 centuries later, that decision still echoes across every battlefield and beachhead where freedom has been tested. Mr. Vice President, thank you for your faithful service and your continued leadership, proving always that once a Marine, always a Marine. Secretary of War Hegseth, thank you for your continued service and for your unwavering advocacy for our sailors and Marines. Thank you as well to the Commandant, CNO, and to our senior Navy and Marine Corps leaders. And to members of Congress, state and local leaders, and distinguished guests, thank you for joining us today and for your continuous support. It is the privilege of my lifetime to stand with you as the 79th Secretary of the Navy, celebrating 2.5 centuries of the United States Marine Corps, the world's finest fighting force. From the frozen hills of Korea to Tripoli, from Belleau Wood to Fallujah, Marines have always been raised for the hardest jobs and entrusted with the most consequential fights. From the beginning, the Corps was built on conviction, on the belief that courage and character are the true measure of a warrior. As Major Doug Zembeck said, be a man of principle, fight for what you believe in, live with integrity, lead from the front, be valorous on the field of battle, and take responsibility for your actions. That is what it means to be a Marine, to live by a code that endures long after the battle ends, to serve with honor, and to stand firm when others falter. For 2.5 centuries, that spirit has carried the Marine Corps through every test and every generation, upholding a promise that when freedom is threatened, America will send its very best. And as Secretary of the Navy, I can tell you that promise is alive and strong. The Navy and Marine Corps team remains unmatched, a global force for peace through strength, ready for any challenge, anytime, anywhere. This legacy begins on the yellow footprints at Paris Island, right here in San Diego, and Quantico. That is where discipline takes root, pride is earned, and character is forged. Those qualities are why when the nation calls, Marines answer. They are why allies trust us and adversaries fear us. The line from those footprints to today's formations is unbroken. Marines carry the same courage forged at Guadalcanal, where the 1st Marine Division, hungry and exhausted, refused to quit and proved that grit and discipline win battles. When others said it could not be done, Marines said, "Watch us." Every generation of Marines has found new ways to fight and new tools to wield. Innovation is not a break from tradition, it is the continuation of it. The character of war is changing rapidly, but the character of Marines remains unshakable. The initiative, ingenuity, and grit that carried this force through every battle must drive innovation in every formation. The future belongs to those who adapt faster than the challenge before them. This is a challenge our Marine Corps and Navy team will win. Lieutenant General Victor Krulak once wrote, "Americans believe when trouble comes to our country, there will be Marines, and that when Marines go to war, they invariably turn in performance that is dramatically successful. Not most of the time, but always." That trust was earned through action on every battlefield in every era by Marines who proved that excellence is not a slogan, but a standard. That conviction has carried Marines through 250 years of hardship and victory. And what we have seen here today proves it still burns bright. The Corps continues to deliver on its promise to the American people, standing as both the ideal and the standard to which the next generations of Americans can aspire. Because when it matters most, it is not technology or equipment that wins the day, but the dependability, decisiveness, and character of the Marine or sailor who wields it. One of our greatest weapons has always been and will always be the United States Marine. As we celebrate 250 years of the United States Marine Corps, we look forward as much as we look back. We honor not just the Marine Corps history, but its spirit, the unbreakable will that defines every Marine who has ever worn the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. The next chapter will be written by Marines, just like you who fight in new domains, face new challenges, encounter new threats. To every Marine here today, thank you for carrying a legacy 250 years strong. You are the embodiment of Semper Fidelis, always faithful to one another, to the Corps, and to the nation we serve. And behind every Marine is a family, a spouse, a parent, a child who stands the watch with you. They endure the deployments, the moves, the missed birthdays, the late night calls, and the endless goodbyes. They are the quiet strength of the Corps, and today we honor them too. To every Marine family here at Camp Pendleton and around the world, thank you. Your sacrifice makes this legacy possible. Bravo Zulu 3rd Fleet, Semper Fi 1 MEF, happy birthday, Marines. May God bless you. May God bless the United States Marine Corps and Navy team. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you. I hope you have a great day today. Thanks.
They were using the music Thunderstruck, and I thought that was Pete Hegseth's music. Every time I see Pete Hegseth come out, that's the music I hear from him. So while we're getting ready for our next speaker, I got something funny for you. SV, I was drinking something and I got this post from SV and I almost spit all over the monitor. The liberals are all pissed off. They're all pissed off because people are noticing, which I don't know how you can't notice, that the entirety of the crowds, or the bulk of the crowds that are showing up, are all old people. And it's a quick video. I got to show this from you. I guess this is from a station up in Boston. I might have to hold it. Looks like they're introducing somebody. Let me see who's coming up. Yeah, I'm going to have to hold it. I'll be back with you in a second, okay? Because you're not going to want to miss this one.
How we doing? Hoorah, Marines! Man, that is beautiful. Let me just say, this might be one of the most beautiful sights I think I've ever seen. In fact, I'm not supposed to say this. I'm really not. But I think you guys might be my favorite. Don't tell anybody. Marines, it's great to see you. It's an honor to be here. Chief, Commandant, Secretary of the Navy, thank you. It's an honor to be at Camp Pendleton. And looking out at these Marines today and the Navy SEALs I had a chance to do PT with this morning. You know, I do PT all around the country now with the troops, and it's turned into Smoke the Secretary. It's clear to me why President Trump says all the time we're the strongest, most powerful, most lethal, and most prepared military on the planet. Because you are that strength. You are that power. You are that lethality. And you are prepared. And President Trump's going to make sure it stays that way. Being here with you is the perfect way to mark 250 years of the beautiful and beloved United States Marine Corps. President Trump has made our mission clear. We needed clarity, and he provided it. America first, peace through strength, and common sense at every turn. We are the War Department, and you are warriors. The Marine Corps embodies the warrior ethos. You see, when other parts of the department wavered in years past, not anymore, in years past, the Marine Corps stood strong. When other parts of the department wanted to go woke, the Marine Corps stood strong. When other parts of the department wanted to lower standards, the Marine Corps stood strong. You, ladies and gentlemen, are the backbone of the United States military. You always have been, and that's why we're proud to honor you today. 250 years ago, Major Samuel Nichols formed the Continental Marines. The next year, the Marines won the Battle of Nassau, capturing 2 forts from the Brits. Since that day, the very mention of the Marine Corps stirred panic in the hearts of our enemies. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, Marines have been the tip of the spear of our armed forces and the vanguard of the fight for freedom. Just as they are right now in the Caribbean. Let's hope the wrong people don't F-A-F-O around there. In the most critical battles our nation has ever faced, it is often Marines, forged by unique traditions and tough as nails training, who land first. And they volunteer to put themselves in harm's way. Thanks to the blood and sweat of men who came before you, every American knows the truth of the phrase. It's not just a phrase, it's a way of life for all of you. Semper Fidelis, always faithful. You see, because I look out at this crowd, I see a lot of different types of faces. The truth is, your diversity is not your strength. It never has been. Your strength is in your unity of purpose. It's in your shared mission. It's in your oath to the Constitution. It's the bond that turns individuals into single-minded fighting units. You see, you are set apart. You're not civilians. You're devil dogs, leathernecks.
United States Marines. Hoorah! You are set apart for a distinct purpose. You kill bad guys and break things for a living. You close with and destroy the enemy for a living. And as we mark the 250th birthday of the Marine Corps, take a moment and remember where you are in the great American story. Everybody likes to talk about 1776, and that was a pretty important date. But we're not here without 1775. When Americans were willing to stand up and pick up a rifle and say, "We will live free." That spirit lives in all of you. That story includes heroes like Chesty Puller, Daniel Daly, and our own great Vice President and Marine J.D. Vance. Take pride in that story and continue making yourselves worthy of that legacy. As the Commandant said so beautifully, standards, discipline, accountability, warfighting, lethality, they live in the Marine Corps. We get a chance to see our Commander-in-Chief fight for all of you every single day. I know because I see it. President Trump appreciates your dedication, your valor, your tenacity, the sacrifices you make and the sacrifices that all of your families make. We know no Marine serves alone. They serve alongside a family. Someone else who understands that is Vice President Vance, who is right there alongside President Trump, who he himself has made the same types of sacrifices that you have. Your Vice President enlisted after high school in the Marine Corps and served in Iraq. Your Vice President knows and shares the dedication of this force, and he represents you always in Washington. I have the honor of getting a chance to watch Vice President Vance day in and day out live the values of the Marine Corps, speak up and tell the truth, have courage, stand alongside President Trump. It's an incredible thing to watch. And as I tell every warrior I meet, our President and Vice President, they have your back. And I promise you, so do I. Support from the top is all I ever wanted when I was a young infantry lieutenant in Iraq, or in Afghanistan, where my boss actually happened to be a Marine. He was tough, he was brave, and a little bit crazy. But I loved him for it. And I knew he would do anything for me. So on behalf of the Department of War, thank you. Congratulations on 250 years of success. And here's to 250 more. I could say to you, we've got 7 little kids in our stead. Not so little anymore, a couple teenagers. Man, I would be proud as a dad if I ever saw one of them put on the uniform of a United States Marine. You serve your country. You make us proud. We have your back. God bless you. God bless our Marines, and may God bless our great republic. Godspeed. Thank you.
If you're not familiar with that song is from Uncle Ted Nugent. The name of the song is Stranglehold. As we know that TPUSA is trying to put together a anti-Big Bunny, Bugs Bunny, whatever the hell his name is, halftime show. I would love to see a halftime show with Uncle Ted. I would probably pay money just for the halftime show to watch Ted Nugent go out there and shred for 30 minutes. In fact, I don't know if you've heard the live version of Stranglehold, but the live version of Stranglehold would probably take the entire halftime. I think that song, you guys can double check me, but the live version of Stranglehold, I believe, is 18 or 19 minutes. So that would be one heck of a show. All right, so obviously the next speaker up will be J.D. Vance. Before he comes in, I don't understand how SV finds these crazy videos. Oh my goodness. But This is pissing off liberals something really bad, because they've been exposed, and even other liberals are like, something's wrong here. I want you to check this out real quick before J.D. Vance hit the stage. You're going to love this.
People I know who are there. This is an older crowd. There's not a lot of folks, and granted, it's a big crowd here. I'm not good at estimating, but it's definitely over 2,000, maybe close to 3,000. We can't see everyone, but it's an older crowd. A lot of white hair. You see out there Q-tips, as we used to call them in the business, and they're out protesting, and not a lot of young people. And also, again, portraying this I hate America idea that this is what this protest is about, showing people who are boomers and middle-aged out taking time from their day on a Saturday to come and protest and be heard at the nation's oldest public park, Boston Common.
Q-tip, she called him. Well, if you call that one a Q-tip, I don't know what you call this one. This one might just be called dirty Q-tip. Let's listen to this dude.
And people who are violent, and it really helps to match the absurdity of those statements when we show up and show support in silly inflatable animal costumes.
Absolutely. What does it mean for you to be here today, representing, what you're standing for?
I'm going to have to come back and show you that funness as J.D. Vance is now walking up to the stage.
Hoorah, Marines! I didn't hear you. Hoorah, Marines! God bless you, Marines. God bless you, Camp Pendleton. It is so much fun and such an honor to be out here to celebrate 250 years of United States Marines. Now, I gotta say, first of all, thank you to so many of the fine people who are here today who make this incredible event happen and who every day make our military the finest fighting force anywhere in the world. First of all, our great Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who gave a hell of a speech, if I might say so. Pete, where are you at? Now, he is a soldier, but are we proud of our Secretary of War, Marine Corps? Now, I will say, I was talking to Pete about this speech and thinking about what I said, and I realized that over my 4 years in the United States Marine Corps, I probably learned about 100 jokes about United States Marines. And every single one of them, Marines, would mean the end of my political career if I told it up here today. I sent a few of them last night to my communications staff, and I said, can I tell this one? And they said, please no, sir. Please, please do not tell that one. We're also happy to be joined by our great Secretary of the Navy, John Phelan. John, thank you so much for your leadership and service. I got to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, our great Second Lady, Usha Vance, with the Marine Corps hat. You know, I've been asked many times, why did I want to run for and become Vice President of the United States? And there's a lot of answers, of course, to that question. I wanted to serve our wonderful Commander-in-Chief, President Donald J. Trump, and I know we're proud of him. And of course, I wanted to serve the American people and make their lives better, but really, deep down, I wanted the Commandant of the Marine Corps to have to salute a member of the E4 Mafia, and now he has to. And Marines, we have a great Marine Corps Commandant in General Eric Smith. General, thank you so much for everything you do. We got General Daniel Taylor. Where's General Daniel Taylor? Apparently he was sick today. We have got Admiral Gavin Duff here. Admiral, thank you for your service, sir. We have got Colonel John Caldwell and General Michael Nakanizi. Did I pronounce that right, General? There we go. I did okay. I'm the Vice President, so you can't tell me I'm wrong. And of course, Marines, I bring greetings today from our Commander-in-Chief, Donald J. Trump, and he wanted me to tell each and every single one of you that he's proud of you, that he loves you, and that despite the Schumer shutdown, he is going to do everything he can to make sure you get paid exactly as you deserve. Now, I know we're here to talk about the Marine Corps, but I got to get just a little political because congressional Democrats seem to want to keep the government shut down, even though it would mean that a lot of you would not get your paycheck. But as I told the president just a couple of days ago, I said, sir, we have got to figure out how to pay these Marines, both for their sake, but also, of course, because if we don't pay our enlisted Marines, every bar in Southern California is going to go out of business, and we don't want that. Now, I've also got to give a special shout out to the incredible display that we saw earlier today. It made my heart sing as your Vice President, and it was a testament to the Corps' strength and unbeatable power. It reminded me why I am so proud to have worn the uniform, to be one among your ranks, and to be the very first Vice President to have been a United States Marine. Now, for us East Coast Marines, Camp Pendleton has always had a special place in our imagination. We heard the stories of the back-breaking hikes you all had to do, the West Coast Marines had to do in Camp Pendleton. You know it? Us East Coast Marines, we had the sand fleas and you all had the hills. I don't know which was worse. These guys behind me have opinions. So let's give some credit to the amazing Marine units who pulled this off. First of all, to the incredible Marines of this base and the Marine Corps Forces West who put on this display. Let's give a round of applause to the incredible job they did. And I want to talk about some of those units because you all made me so proud. I know we must have some Marines from the 1st Marine Division. Where are you? You all did a hell of a job. How about the Marines from the 3rd Marine Air Wing? I know we have some Marines from the 1st Marine Logistics Group, the lifeblood of the fight. Where are you all at? We've also got Marines from the 1st Meth Information Group, the brain of the fight. Where are you all at? And we've also got, of course, men and women from Marine Corps Installations West, the folks who keep the home front. Where are you, Marine Corps Installations West? There we go. Now, I know you all know we cannot leave out our brothers and sisters of the sea, so we're proud to have all the sailors of the Navy's 3rd Fleet here to celebrate 250 years of Marines. Thank you. These sailors who go to war with us, they fight over the horizon. They stand shoulder to shoulder with Marines wherever the fight takes us. And if any group shares in the glory of the Marines' 250th birthday, it is our beloved Navy Corpsmen. Let's give a shout out to the Navy Corpsmen out there. We love them. And I know every Marine has had the story of walking into a corpsman's office, barely alive, suffering the most severe illness you've suffered in your entire life, and they'll say, just go home, hydrate, and take 2 Motrin, and it'll work out just fine. So thank you to the corpsmen for taking care of us, but also toughening us up. That's right, and a change of socks. A bottle of water, a change of socks, and 2 Motrin will fix any illness. So we are grateful, Marines, to be graced with the presence of some very special guests, people whose very lives contribute to the incredible Marine Corps legacy. Earlier, we all heard from Sergeant Dakota Meyer, who received the Medal of Honor in 2011 for extraordinary heroism in 2009. Are we proud of Sergeant Dakota Meyer? Yes, we are. And despite the constant rain of enemy fire, then Corporal Meyer made multiple runs across an ambush zone that day, saving the lives of 36 American and Afghan troops. Dakota Meyer, we love you. We're proud of you. You're the very best of the Marine Corps and the very best of this country. We are also honored to be joined by American hero Charles Cram, who was a Navy corpsman attached to the 5th Marine Division when it landed at Iwo Jima. Now, as part of that force, this American hero watched the Stars and Stripes raised over Mount Suribachi before being wounded on the 7th day of battle while tending to a Marine. For his valor, he was awarded the Silver Star, the Bronze Star, and the Purple Heart. Sir, we love you. Thank you for your service. The Marines love their corpsmen, and that's one of the very best. Another living legend we have with us today is Elmer Royce Williams, a naval aviator who, while on combat patrol in the Korean War, suddenly found himself up against 7 Soviet MiGs. Sir, thank you so much. God bless you, and thank you. Now we're going to let the brave lieutenant take a seat, but I got to talk a little bit about him. I got to brag on him, because despite the odds, Lieutenant Williams took down 4 of them in a single 35-minute dogfight, the longest dogfight in naval history, a record I believe that still stands to this day. Hoorah! Now, not only did he take 4 MiGs down, he demolished the MiG's reputation as an unbeatable aircraft and secured his place among the legends of American military aviation. And if you notice, we just talked about a great Marine in ground combat, a great Marine in aviation combat, and a great Marine, or I should say a great Navy corpsman who helps out our Marines. In other words, Marines can kick ass in every theater of combat, and we do it every single day. And I finally got to give a shout out to my dear friend, recently retired Master Sergeant Charles McKelvey. Chase, where you at, man? Love you. Oh, he's got a beard already. Look at that. He's been out of the Marine Corps for 3 months. He's already got a beard longer than what I got. Now, Master Sergeant McKelvey and I served together at Cherry Point when we were both very young Marines, and we've been good friends ever since. I call him Chase. Other Marines will tell you Chase is an extraordinary person, the smartest, kindest Marine you'll ever meet, and those are descriptions I can personally attest to. Now, he was supposed to join me at my inauguration to become the Vice President last January, but tragically he lost his wonderful, devoted wife, Jillian, to a terrible illness just days before. So I want to tell you, Chase, in front of all these Marines, we're proud of you. We're thankful for you. I'm sorry I couldn't see you in January, but I'm glad to see you today, my friend. I love you. Semper Fi. And finally, we are grateful to have all of you, whatever your rank, whatever your station in the Marine Corps, here at Camp Pendleton to commemorate this incredible 250th anniversary of our beloved Marine Corps. From these mountains and this water, Marines have deployed to every major fight of the last century, from island hopping across the Pacific to Vietnam's Hue City, to Kuwait, to Helmand and beyond. And standing here, you can feel the weight of that history. The generations upon generations of Americans who cut their teeth at this base before boarding ships and carrying the American flag into battle. But that's exactly what Marines do. For 2.5 centuries now, this beloved Corps has served as our nation's sharp edge, always forward deployed, always ready, and always faithful. My service in the Marine Corps was a huge part of my life. I would not be here today. I would not be the Vice President of the United States. I would not be the man I am today were it not for those 4 years that I served in the Marine Corps. Now, before I was enlisted, I was pretty terrified about the prospect of becoming a Marine. I'm sure that a lot of you can share that. I remember I had nightmares before I went to boot camp of drill instructors yelling at me, of being away from my family, of being constantly stretched well beyond my own physical limits. It's daunting stuff, as all of you know. And as anyone who survived boot camp can tell you, it's all real. But my cousin Rachel, in particular, one last shout out to a former Marine. In particular, she pushed me to do it. A veteran of the Corps herself, she got it. She understood what joining does for a young man or a young woman. So she pushed me to go and talk to a recruiter, which I did, and I will never forget that conversation. Because at no point did he try to sell me on the United States Marine Corps. He warned me, said, "You don't enlist in the Marine Corps to make money," and you all know that's exactly right. He said, "You might even go to war." This was back in 2003, right after we invaded Iraq. But what he did tell me is that enlisting in the Marines would teach me many things, including discipline and the virtue of leadership. And that was appealing to me, and I know it's appealing to Marines today and for every year of our 250-year history. Hoorah! But over the days that followed, what further dawned on me was that I needed to do this not just for me, but for the nation. My country needed me just as sure as the country needs each and every one of you today. The September 11th attacks had occurred barely a year earlier. And as I weighed what enlisting would mean, the crisis in Iraq was becoming a full-out war. So I made the call. As an 18-year-old senior in the state of Ohio, it was one of the first times in my life that I recall feeling like the country actually needed me. And when I realized I had a responsibility to something so much greater than myself or even my family, and I had an obligation to act on that feeling of duty. And I know that's something that animates every single one of you, whether you're a private or a general. That spirit of service has been the spirit of the Marine Corps for 2.5 centuries. So I just wanted to say, from the bottom of my heart, from one Marine to another, from the Vice President of the United States to the whole Marine Corps, thank you for your service. We are proud of you and proud of your service. And I'm here today because I want to talk a little bit about the great Marine Corps tradition, 250 years of it. I want to talk about the tradition that all of us standing under this bright California sun, and man, it is bright, we all chose, however many years ago, to adopt that Marine Corps tradition as our own. A tradition in that just 3 short weeks will reach its 250th year. Now, as many of you in this audience know, the Corps found its origins in the autumn of 1775. And a venue may be familiar to you, a bar in Philadelphia called Tun Tavern. The very first bar in the United States of America that would come to regret serving United States Marines. So here we are in Tun Tavern almost 250 years ago. And what we did in that moment was we answered the call of service. Because even before we had a Declaration of Independence, the Continental Congress organized an army and a navy to fight the British, but they recognized they needed something a little bit extra. They needed a force that could fight just as comfortably on land as it could on sea, that was able to move fast, strike hard, and hold its ground. So on November 10th, 1775, Congress resolved to raise 2 battalions of Continental Marines. Captain Samuel Nicholas established that first recruitment drive at Tun Tavern in Philadelphia in search of a few good men. He was seeking young, able-bodied citizens, men who relished the opportunity to fight tyrants, yes, but more importantly, who were eager to answer that first call of duty of a young nation. Just a few months later, Captain Nicholas was personally leading those Marines in a daring raid on New Providence, receiving British forts and supplies in the Bahamas. And 2 short years later, the Marines joined forces with the legendary John Paul Jones, the father of the American Navy, beginning a great tradition that has survived the entire term of our Marine Corps, that when the Marines and the Navy go to war together, they always fight well and they always win. The War of Independence set a blueprint that Marines follow to this day. Boldness in action, unity in purpose, and a lightning readiness to go wherever the nation required. In battle after battle, the United States Marine Corps has broken the backs of empires, you've toppled tyrants, you've hanged pirates, and hunted down America's foes across the 7 seas. And Pete, turns out we're hunting some pirates today, aren't we? From Tripoli to the halls of Montezuma, from Bella Wood to Iwo Jima, and from Chosin Reservoir to Khe Sanh, we Marines have repeatedly earned our reputation as the first to fight and the last to leave. And as all of you know, that legacy only grew stronger after 9/11. Within weeks after the attack, the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit, the 15th MEU, already forward deployed on September the 11th, helped launch the most ambitious amphibious assault in the history of the United States of America. And that's just how Marines are wired. No matter where, no matter when, the Corps will always uphold its reputation for discipline and for unshakable focus. Now, I always think back to what Army Major General Frank Lowe had to say this about the Corps in 1952. The safest place in Korea was right behind a platoon of Marines. Lord, how they could fight, and what a great testament to the United States Marine Corps. Because while the world keeps changing, new weapons, new threats, and new ways in which we wage war, the nation will forever need the United States Marine Corps. And in the Trump administration, we know that the work you do, protecting our country, putting your lives on the line to defend our way of life, is at the heart of Marine Corps service. Now, when officials try to shift focus to mandating diversity quotas, or they try to inject partisan politics into the American Armed Forces, they impede the Marine Corps' ability to do its best work, and that's why the Secretary of War and the President of the United States have stood so firmly against that crap. Because when you can't operate at your best on the battlefield, it puts everybody's lives at risk. And it's why we're recentering the focus of all of our military, including the Marine Corps, on those timeless values of discipline, readiness, and faith in one another. Now, I remember when I was a young recruit in boot camp talking about how politically correct things got maybe over the last few years, and I compare it to my time in the Marine Corps. I remember I was lining up as a young recruit to go to church one Sunday morning. And back then, there were two lines. There was the Catholic line, and there was the Protestant line. And I remember we all get into our lines, and there's one recruit who's just kind of standing there by himself. And, you know, the folks watching on TV may not realize that Marines refer to themselves in the third person when they're in recruit training, because you haven't earned the title of United States Marine, and so you have to say, this recruit, instead of I. And so you've got this one recruit standing out there by himself, and the drill instructor says, hey, what the hell are you doing? And the recruit says, this recruit is an atheist. And the drill instructor says, bullshit, get in the Catholic line. That didn't work in the Biden administration, Pete. That didn't work in the Biden administration, but now we recognize that it is not our diversity that makes us stronger. It is our common purpose. It is our common mission. And it is the fact that every single person here bleeds Marine Corps green. And I think that all of you should realize that from the President of the United States on down, this government is proud of you. It's proud of the tradition of the Marine Corps, and it's proud of the fact that that great tradition has custodians in each and every single person here, each and every single Marine who is serving today. And I hope that the proud Marine Corps tradition, you heard Pete talk about this, Chesty Puller, Dan Daly, John Basilone, all of these great Marine Corps heroes, they should inspire you through their action to be the very best Marine in the future that you can be. Now, I remember so many people who made my Marine Corps journey and made the country better in the process. I remember a gunnery sergeant who saved me from financial ruin. I was a young Lance Corporal, and I was going to go to an off-base car dealership and buy a used car with a low dealer-provided interest rate of 22%. These Marines behind me, you aren't supposed to nod your head at that part, guys. No 22% interest rate. So I had a gunny who was like, look, stop being a dipshit and go to Navy Federal Credit Union, get a better interest rate, and then go and buy a car. And that's exactly what I did. I remember that gunny, and I remember a young Marine who was younger than I was. Chase knows who I'm talking about, a Puerto Rican Marine who grew up in New York City. You too, huh? A man I thought I had nothing in common with, but who I learned bled Marine Corps green just like I did, and who came to my inauguration as Vice President of the United States. I remember a Marine I served with, a guy whose political beliefs you might call far left, but despite the craziness of our politics today, remains one of my best friends and is a man I would trust with my life. I remember the Marines raising the flag over Iwo Jima, etching in American memory the importance of respecting and honoring our beautiful national symbol. I remember all my friends from the Marines, men and women, some of whom retired and some of whom made the Marine Corps proud in the civilian world. I remember General Chuck Krulak, who I met at my cousin's boot camp graduation. He was the 31st Commandant of the Marine Corps, and I was probably 14 years old, and I was taller than he was. But he was tough as nails. I met him as Vice President, by the way, just a few months ago. He's still very short, and he's still tough as nails, and he still loves the Marine Corps as much as he did on his first day of service. Now, he had a phrase, I'm sure you guys have heard it. He said that the most important thing the Marine Corps does for this nation is to win battles and to make United States Marines. Today, we remember a fallen Marine from the 3rd Marine Air Wing who died not far from here on a training mission. He died so recently, as a matter of fact, I can't even say his name publicly, but I want all of us to know and send a message to his family that we remember them and we know that his Marine Corps service was not in vain. Let's give a new hoorah for that fallen Marine. I know that all of us remember the friends who went off to war, and we particularly remember the ones who were mangled in combat or who never came home at all. Every single one of you has memories like this. Every single one of you is lucky enough to have friends like mine. Within each of you is your own Marine Corps legacy burning every single day. And because of that, every one of our fellow Marines lives on. As Gunnery Sergeant Hartman in Full Metal Jacket, we like Full Metal Jacket, Marines? He said, but the Marine Corps lives on forever, and that means you live forever. Our motto, Marines, is Semper Fidelis, which means in Latin, always faithful. Though the shape of the battlefield will change, our nation will be just fine, so long as fellow Marines just like you remain faithful to that great Marine Corps legacy. My fellow Marines, you have the watch now. You honor that legacy by how you carry yourself in public. You honor it by how you treat your friends and family. You honor it by how you contribute to your communities, and most importantly, you honor it in how you fight and win the nation's battles. So from one vice president to an incredible United States Marine Corps, keep kicking ass, keep taking names. Semper Fidelis, Marines. Happy 250th birthday. God bless you.
Killing me with the music. You know how these people here at YouTube feel about the music. They get all kinds of pissed off when they hear this music. But that was Creed in any event. Still one of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. J.D. Vance standing there and then taking it all in and meeting with these Marines who absolutely are loving it. All right, so as we watch the Vice President sign some autographs, maybe sign some hats. That was a pretty awesome speech, and I gotta show you this. I was gonna show you this before it started. I have something funny to show you. Then I've got something very serious to show you, which basically dovetails off of what J.D. Vance just said. Time for you guys to kick some butt. Time for you to kick some serious butt when needed. But we'll get to that. So first, let me go back and show you. This is the type of people who were so-called protesting today.
And people who are violent, and it really helps to match the absurdity of those statements when we show up and show support in silly inflatable animal costumes.
Absolutely. What does it mean for you to be here today, representing, what you're standing for?
There's so many things, mostly like freedom of speech, of like being able to gather and tell everybody like why we don't like about this administration, and pretty much that being that's a right. Like we are the youth worry we're going to lose, and we're here to prove like we don't want to lose that right.
Absolutely. Now I spoke to someone else earlier who was also dressed up and kind of was wearing their message. I think that's a great way to kind of get your point across without actually speaking. So what is the importance of like you mentioned wearing the message that you're trying to send, and what is that message?
It's really just to show that we are together, united, and we are nonviolent, and we want to stand up for all communities in this country.
So very lastly, what do you hope that people take away from today's protest?
Just when you hear things in the news about people being violent, you need to really take a look at what is really happening.
I can see what's really happening. You people are bat poop crazy. You're absolutely nuts. All right, so yesterday in the Oval Office, you saw President Trump talk about don't F around. And we all had a good guffaw at it. It was kind of funny. But somebody's about to find out exactly what, well, we saw a couple people on the submarine found out today, and J.D. Vance talked about it, but we're also going to see it probably in the Middle East. I want to show you this, something SB sent me. The United States has informed the guarantor nations of the Gaza peace deal of credible reports indicating an imminent ceasefire violation by Hamas against the people of Gaza. I want to stop there for a second. Hamas has now decided, well, we can't mess with Israel. and we can't mess with America. So how about we just start killing people here in Hamas, in Gaza, our own people? Why are the free Palestine people not running out and going, stop, stop, you can't be killing your own people? But nothing. Not a word. Tells you so much about what that protest about free Palestine really was. It was all AstroTurf, just like the No Kings one. They've moved on to the next cause. Sorry. You people in Gaza, nah, sorry. This planned attack against Palestinian civilians, their own people, would constitute a direct and grave violation of the ceasefire agreement and undermine the significant progress achieved through mediation efforts. The guarantors demand Hamas uphold its obligations under the ceasefire terms. Should Hamas proceed with this attack, measures will be taken to protect the people of Gaza. I want you to imagine right now that the free Palestine people are going to have the United States, or the coalition headed by the United States, go in to protect the people that they wanted free. Let that wash over you. These people are running around the country having these No Kings protests, and this person that they think is a king is the only one who's going to stand up for the free Palestine that you've been protesting for the last year or so. They're killing their own people. They are taking, I don't know if you've seen some of the videos, but they are taking people, lining them up, making them kneel down, and taking them to the gun to the back of their heads. Rifles. Boom, 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 boom. And the free Palestine crowd? Silent. So wouldn't freeing Palestine be more important to stop the people who are killing them? Good luck with this one. The United States and other guarantors remain resolute in our commitment to ensuring the safety of civilians, maintaining calm on the ground, and advancing peace and prosperity for the people of... Prosperity. For advancing peace and prosperity for the people of Gaza and the region as a whole. Prosperity, huh? You threw that in there. I just told SV by text, I'm like, I really think we're going to see Mega Gaza actually come to fruition. President Trump has been telling these people, don't F around. The other day he posted on Trump's Truth Social, we're going to kill you. He actually said those words, we will kill you. And these people are over there playing, I don't know what they're thinking. This is probably the one president I wouldn't try. I would not try to knock the thing off his shoulder. They're playing with dynamite, and you have to wonder something. You have to wonder if they're being put up to do this. They're being told by some deep state entity, you have to keep doing this. You have to keep... We can't have peace over there. It is so integral to the deep state. War is money. And the same thing happening with Zelensky and Putin. This thing has gone on because, we have sent gazillions to Zelensky. And finally it's at the point where time to stop it. And so the whole deep staters here, they're too busy. They got other stuff to worry about. They're trying to stay out of jail at this point. And then you got these yahoos out there playing caveman and killing their own people. I just don't see how that is going to, how that's going to work whatsoever. That's a nightmare waiting to happen. I think President Trump will indeed go in there. And when he goes in there, it won't be us. We won't put boots on the ground, but it's going to be absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So I want to tell you guys before we go, Patriot Addict is doing an amazing special for just the people here in the Fanfare family. They've been celebrating everything that President Trump has been doing, and they've been doing so much for this channel and helping us out, but now they've taken it to the next level. I've been talking to you about this knife here, and a lot of people have gotten it. And it's the free Trump red knife. Many people here, just in our Fanfare family, have gotten this. It's always been our way of saying thank you. I mean, Patriot Addict's way of saying thank you for supporting President Trump. And normally this knife right here retails for $70. And it was free with, it was free with free, shipping was about $12 or $14. But now we got something special for you. Just for you guys. You're not going to see this on any other channel. Anyone who orders a red knife, just for the cost of shipping, if you order this knife right here, you get the other Trump signature knife for free. Just pay the cost of shipping of 2 knives, and you get them both for free. This is normally a $150 combined retail value. Just scan the QR code right over there to apply your 100% off coupon. 100% off means it's free. And you can claim your Trump knives today before they're all gone. So if you go to this QR code right here and you go ahead and order the knives, you're paying the shipping, but you're not paying the $150. So you're essentially getting both of these knives, including the signature knife, for free. So, and if you wait, you might end up losing that. So I would jump on that very, very quickly before Patriot Addict pulls that offer down. It's awesome. All right, so let me get ready to look at doing some super chats. And again, programming reminder. Tomorrow, just want you guys to know, I said I'm going to be doing a show about prosperity. I've got some videos to show you from some other people online that are going to prove to you it doesn't matter what situation you're in, you can improve your position in life and for you and your family. And number 2, I'm going back into my real estate catalog. I got a whole bunch of shows and videos I did on real estate. I'm going to work those like I normally do the news, and so I can comment and show you some. We may be here for 3 hours tomorrow. Go ahead and pack a lunch. If you want to learn, if you want to understand how this goes, we're going to get you the elementary version first, just to see how many people are really ready for prosperity. How many people are really ready to understand you have the ability to, within a very short period of time, make some serious money? Some people say they don't need it. That's fine. You don't need it. You're comfortable. I never would turn down a deal. I still look at deals all the time. Doesn't really matter. My old boss, who's a billionaire, who has his own airplane, who tried to buy the Miami Dolphins, he always looks at deals. I never understand when people are like, I'm good. I don't know those people. I've never run into those people. Right now, I could call this guy on the phone and say, we got this deal. Do you want it? He entertains everything. And if he doesn't entertain it, there's other guys. He'll say, hey, call Charlie, call Fred. I never met anybody who said, I'm done. I've eaten enough and I can't take any more. I'm going to show you how you can keep eating, for those of you who want to. And I don't mean any disrespect by that. I'm just saying that it's very interesting to me when people say that they're comfortable and that's all. Okay. Things can change. Be prepared. All right, so let me go ahead and look at some super chats here, and then we can. Why is this window so small? Okay, here it is. Let me pull this in, and there we go. All right, so which window can I read it in? Where is the Truth Social window? Okay, there we go. I just have to move it over a little bit, and you guys can see this accordingly. All right, so this is from Tamara. Tamara. I knew a girl in grammar school who spelled her name that way, but she went by Tamara instead of Tamara. But each person, let me move my body here. All right, my husband and I went to the 2 No Kings protest here in Florida. Trump flag up. Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, our sentiments. Clowns. Yeah, I didn't even go to the Boca when I went last time, did a man on the street video. I'm like, it's useless. Kelly Washburn, for the Tesla protest, the AARP sent flyers with instructions in their monthly mailers. It's possible they did it again. Yes, Mike Benz made a video. There were people from the former USAID division out there sending out flyers and stuff as well. Chapo, call it what it is, nursing home and mental institution field trip. Did they also have Depends changing stations? Oh man, bro, that's just mean. The Depends chasing station, but it's pretty true. I don't understand why there were so many old people. And I just want to say this too. Somebody had written in there and said, I'm a boomer, but I'm not crazy like these people. I just understand. I'm 65. If I'm not a boomer, I'm right there on that line. But I think I'm in that category. And I don't have anything in common with these people. Most of you don't have anything in common with these people. Doesn't make any sense. My wife she's not a boomer, but yeah, she's a boomer too. Whatever. In any event, whatever videos you see tonight, go look at some other videos. It's only 7-Eleven. Go ahead and, 7-Eleven. Oh, that's the lottery number playing time. 7-Eleven, and click on ABC or CBS or Fox and look at a football game. It's something I've been telling you guys for quite some time. We're in the middle of football season for both college and the NFL. And I think it might be cleansing, as Midas is barking, I think it might be cleansing to turn on one of these games. And just for yourself, in comparison, understanding how X isn't going to show this stuff, and just look at 70, 80, 90, 100,000 people living their lives and having fun, who could care less that there's protests going on across the country. I get off of here, I'm going to grab some dinner, kiss the wife, walk the dogs, and then at 7:30, Notre Dame plays USC, which is an annual rival. I know that game being in Notre Dame seats 81,000 people. They will probably have to put people on the field when they have an overflow. So there's probably going to be in excess of 85,000 people at that one game. 85,000 people. And those 85,000 people will be accompanied by millions of us watching at home in about 20 minutes. So if you look at this stuff on X and go, are we in trouble? Because I saw somebody posted something and I'm like, what? Why would you post that? It's not you guys, somebody on X. Like, oh, Republicans, and it was a Republican, it was a guy you would know. He's like, you're in trouble, we're in trouble, don't take this for granted. And I'm like, dude, nobody's paying attention to this. They had to do everything they possibly could to rally whoever they could get out for these things, whoever the blue noses and the green hairs and the rings in the face and everything else, the people in crazy suits, the old people that they had to, all of that to try and make it look good. And you can turn on the TV right now and get a serious cleanse. You can turn on the TV on any of those stations and sit back and go, there are normal people in the world. Yes, they're normal young people. They're normal older people. Yes, the University of Florida is playing right now. I believe that stadium holds like 95,000 people. Turn off the crap. Don't listen to all the stuff. That's what they want. They want you to think that there's something, this is a huge thing. I'm like, no, it isn't. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Live your life, love your life. Understand the best medicine right now is to do well. Be prosperous. I had a late super chat that I want to acknowledge. It just came in. and it's from Kimberly G. Thank you, Kimberly, very much. Thank you for what you do. Barry, I appreciate your channel. Thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate you for watching. And I really do. I really do. I mean, I didn't know I was going to be able to go on today, but I got everything done. The entire room is just like I want it. And so now the weekend studio is completely ready to go. You might get more than you bargained for. At any time, if Robin's like, I'm going to go paint, or I may just walk in here and go, boom, hit the button and go. So I'm just telling you, be ready for it, especially on the weekends. During the week, Trump's all out there running around. He's doing all kinds of things. But during the weekends, when I live a pretty simple life. Neo, thank you very much. Let me do this. Yeah, Neo, thank you, Barry and team, for more Bibles. The armor of God is in much prayer. Need to fight this evil. Absolutely, and it's a lot of evil. Lots of evil. All right, so, I hope some of you take me up on that and go, just even if you don't like football, just turn the station around and click some things and go, wow, look at all those people having a great time, living their lives on a fall afternoon. And then realize that's still just a microcosm of people who have fun and sanity. There are people driving up the Blue Ridge Parkway right now looking at the change of the leaves. There's people, well, they're not there now on the beach because it's getting dark, but there were people all over the beach. Live the life, focus on what actually matters. And I'm going to leave you with that. Talk to you guys tomorrow if you want to come in and find out some information. Thanks, everybody. Go Irish.
you.